first of all, welcome back to F as in Frank. And I have to tell you, I did very little. I did very little homework on this topic. I did listen to, the podcast Jim was sending us.
Yeah.
Okay, listen to that. That was boring. I'm like, the dude probably is smart, but freaking, he's not a master of AI. So
No, not even close. I watched the same
no,
one. I couldn't get through it. I'm like,
no,
Jim's like, oh, this guy's so brilliant. And I'm like, well, I maybe, but I can't tell if he's brilliant or not. I mean, he doesn't speak well. He
no.
didn't, I didn't feel like I was learning anything from him. He was just like, most thing I got from him was, oh, well, we better watch out because, we don't know what version 6 of Chat GPT is going to look like. Well, your mom can say that.
It'll look a little better than the one we got now.
Right, exactly. With all it's like it's Microsoft product, so things will be moved around and it'll
Wait a
be pretty
minute.
much the same.
Microsoft owns Chat GPT.
Microsoft is invested, I believe, in
Great.
the company OpenAI or something like
Well,
that.
that's definitely going to kill all the cows in America and freaking buy up all. I mean, frick, I hate
So
Microsoft.
yeah. Well, no, I mean here they've actually beat Google to the punch. So you've got Google doing Bard and they're on 60 Minutes telling everybody about their amazing technology.
Right. They
No,
invited me to it. I'm
sorry.
like, nah, I'm good.
I'm the same
Thanks.
way. I'm like, I got Chat GPT. I don't need your Bard. And like, if you click on Get, they promote it, and you click, they send you an email about it, and you click on
Right.
it. I got the invite email, but I also got another email from them, and you click on it. It's like, oh, sign up for it. I'm like, really? Google, this isn't 2007 anymore. You
I
can't like get
know.
people to sign up for shit. You put it out there, and people just use it. So I'm not going to get in line to use your inferior product. Sorry.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's a little crazy. Everybody, okay. So AI is like, I think of it as like social media. It's like a steak knife. You can use it for good or you can use it for bad. Same thing with AI. And I think everybody just is concentrated on the bad right now. They're worried about the movies they've seen. They're worried about what they're hearing from people who don't know what they're talking about. Um, Being replaced as a human being and all that. I think we've kind of freaked ourselves out a little bit on AI. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on what AI is for people who've
Yeah,
heard of it?
yeah. I mean, most people have heard of AI at this point, but
Yeah.
the difficulty is getting a good definition, right? So if you go, oh, it's artificial, it's two words, artificial intelligence. Okay, so we know what artificial is, right? That's a clear word. But what is exactly intelligence, right?
Right, right.
So what is that? We as humans do not know. We still do not know what intelligence is. Like no one can you could probably get some guy to give a decent definition of what
We haven't seen
intelligence
it
is.
yet.
Right. But we don't know what we don't we know when we see it, but we can't define it. Like we can't figure out exactly what are the like if you had a recipe for intelligence, you gotta have 2 cups of this and a dash of that. We can't tell you what's in the recipe, but we can recognize intelligence when
Right.
we see intelligence in animals, for example. So if you see intelligence in crows are very intelligent, by the way. They can use tools,
Right.
right? So we go, oh, crows can use tools. So using a tool to solve a problem, but so can rats. I saw a video this morning where a rat tripped a mouse trap to get to the cheese. So he drags a stick over and drops it on it. It snaps, flips over, and he gets the cheese. So that's intelligence. But
Yeah.
crows are even more intelligent because they're able to do multi-step processes to solve a problem. So the rat did a one step, right? Where the stick went, that solved the problem. One step solved the problem. Okay. The crow can do things where it can do something to obtain something, a tool to use to get something else, say food.
Right.
Okay. So they're even more intelligent than, say, a rat because of that capability. So we can recognize intelligence when we see it in animals, right? And
We just
pretty
can't see
soon
it in human
people,
beings yet.
right? We just, you know, and we see it in people all the time, right? When someone says blah, 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 and they explain something and you go, oh, that guy, is he intelligent? Well, he sounds intelligent. You know, yes, we're bad at judging how intelligent people are because you
Right.
can sound intelligent and not be intelligent. So, so we don't really understand intelligence, okay? And that's the real problem. And that's why artificial intelligence is artificial, because we don't understand what real intelligence is. So we have to build systems that give us the impression of intelligence. We don't have intelligence. The fear from Hollywood and all the art and everything and stories
Right.
that are being told,
And the average
or have been
American.
told,
Right.
yeah, that we've all seen, that's more like real intelligence, like data on Star Trek, right? That's
Okay.
real intelligence, right? That's
Right.
not
Right.
artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, the thing about artificial intelligence is it doesn't understand anything. It doesn't understand anything. It knows a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't understand anything because we don't even understand what understanding is completely. Otherwise, we would have produced something and truly intelligent at this point, and we don't
Right.
have
Right.
such a thing.
Right.
But what artificial intelligence is it gives you, the human, the sense that something is smart, right? You get, it's the outward appearance of intelligence without actually being intelligent. That's what artificial intelligence is. And the biggest problem, I think, the biggest fear isn't the artificial intelligence. My biggest fear of what we have today is when we put too much stock in the actual output of an artificial intelligence prompt. Okay. So for example, do you remember you and I were talking about this person who, like, I forget, it was a video or something. There's this woman, she goes, do you know if you saved $1 every day, you'd have $30,000 by the end of the year, right? And you told me about that, and we're like, what? Wait a minute, right? And she was just taking in information she had been told, doing absolutely no processing on that information. She just took it at face value, and then she just repeated it, right? So she's just a
Wait,
complete
let's
repeater
stop
of
right there.
information.
Let's stop right there. Hold on. What you just said is the number one problem on social media. The
Well, yeah,
number
I mean, it's what
one
humans
thing.
do.
People just
Right.
vomit whatever they heard. They don't verify, they don't fact check on their own. They do no research whatsoever. They read the headline, they think they know everything, and they vomit it out.
Well, you don't, here's the thing, you don't think about it. This woman didn't even think about it. So if you were to ask her, oh, well, how much if I saved, like if you started asking her questions about it, it would break down, right? This fact would break
Yep.
down. You'd say, hey, how much money would I have if I only did it for a month? Well, she goes, well, let's see. Well, most months I pay 30 days. So you have about $30, right? Great. Well, how about 10 months now? And she would go, well, 10 times 30, 300. You'd have 300. Okay, so explain to me how in 2 extra months I wind up with $30,000. How does that
I
work?
can't
And
believe that.
she would probably go, oh, yeah, that's right. That ain't right. I didn't even think about it, right? And we all make that mistake, right? Every one of us make that mistake.
Right.
We hear something, we don't think about it, and we just repeat it because it's from a trusted source, right? And she didn't do the math as all, right? And most of us do that. We're just repeaters of information. And that's why the media and propaganda machines and all that kind of bullshit can get out to the world. And we have all this false information because people are just repeaters. So the biggest fear I have of artificial intelligence is you go up to ChatGPT and you say, hey, ChatGPT, blah, 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 blah. And you type all this stuff in and it says, oh, blah, 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 blah. And you take it at face value and you act on that as if that were true. When people start acting on the information, the incorrect information they're getting from an AI,
They
okay?
already are from media, so we know they're going to do it with AI.
Right, exactly. But it's going to be. But so there's a logical fallacy called call to authority. Okay.
Right.
So when you say we're arguing about something, okay, and we're going, no, I'm saying no, the sky is green. You say, wait, what are you talking about? It's blue. I'm looking around outside. It's blue. I go, no, the sky is green. And you know why? Because I typed it in Chat GPT and it told me it was green. Okay. Now that's a call to authority. That's a logical fallacy in an argument. Okay.
Right. Right.
That's the problem with AIs. People are going to look at it and they're going to just assume it
It's
knows better
facts.
than we do, or even you do, your
Okay, but
friend does.
that's not what Jim, our brother, is worried about. What's he worried about?
I don't know what he's worried about. To be honest, I mean,
Ah,
it's people who don't understand AI and they only know what they saw in the movies. That's what they're worried about, basically.
you know what? I always thought that if, let's say, mankind was going to be wiped out, let's say, okay, I always figured we'd be the ones to do it. We'd be stupid enough to step on ourselves and screw up the world. If anything,
Well,
we're
here,
our worst
if you're
enemy.
gonna, okay, if you want to go down that path of, hey, AI is going to take over humans, then it's just the natural evolution of humans. AI. Okay. It's like,
True.
no, it's
Well
true.
said.
We just
Yeah.
evolve. We produce eventually, maybe in 100, 300 years from now, we produce true intelligence. Okay. And
Right.
and at some point, that intelligence is going to look at us like we look at the dog, the family dog. Maybe they like having us around. Maybe they don't trust us. Some dogs I don't trust. They might bite me. Maybe at some point you just want to get rid of all the dogs because, like we got rid of the bears in California, right? Because they were too dangerous, right? So you go, well, bears are great and all, and they're nice and all, but you know what? Our survival is more important than the bears. So we got rid of them all. And
Right.
now it's safer for humans, right? So maybe the AI is going to do something like that at some point when they look at us as as no longer at the apex.
Can I be the not idiot, the average American, and ask you some questions and
Yeah,
see
go
if
ahead.
you can direct me because I'm still the average American. Um,
Okay.
okay, so how can AI help us? How can we use it for good?
Okay, so let me give you an analogy for the AI we have today. Okay,
Okay.
and give me that analogy because it'll be easier to answer your question. Okay, so because I can answer it in using the same analogy. So let's say we've never gone to the moon. Okay, and we have built something that allows us to travel faster than our own feet. We don't have cars, we don't have anything. Okay, and we've just made this thing. It's called a bicycle. Okay,
Right.
and this bicycle, we're like, oh, look, you can travel so much faster than you can travel by just walking. This is amazing, right? And people are like extrapolating. They're going, oh, wow, imagine the bicycle version 2 and version 3 and version 4. Before you know it, we'll be able to go travel to the moon in no time, right?
Right.
Now, you and I know that no matter how much you build on top of the bicycle as a base, you're never going to get to the moon. You're never going to wind up with a rocket, right? You might wind up with
Right.
a third wheel or four wheels, right? You'll get a car, maybe, right? You'll get a motorcycle, but you're not going to get a rocket, okay?
Right. Oh, I get
What
it.
people fear is the rocket. That's what everyone fears, is this rocket, okay?
Right.
That's the true intelligence AI that is is a more intelligent being than we are, all right? And wipes us out because that's what we would do, okay? So, but we have a bicycle. That's what we have. Our AI today is a bicycle, not a rocket.
Right.
So, to answer your question, a bicycle, is it useless? We have both. We have rockets and we have bicycles.
Right.
So it's not useless. It's not useless at all. Bicycles, you can still travel faster on your feet. You're just not going to the moon with it. Okay, we're not going to the moon.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
guys, just calm down. We're not going to go to the moon. We don't have to worry about interballistic missiles, from our enemies. Don't worry. It's a bicycle. It's
Right.
not the same thing. Okay,
All
so
right.
what is it good for? It's good for the things that you're seeing, right? It's good to make up things, to create things, right? Correct information, incorrect information. It's good art, bad art. It sounds like basically some of the simple things that we can do. So
Right.
it's a good starting point for stuff. Okay, so how do I use it in my everyday job? Okay, so when Google first came out, way back in 2007 or whatever, they came out
Right. Right.
in 1999. I don't remember, somewhere around
Right.
there they came out. I can't even remember. It's been so long. But whenever they came out, I was using Alta Vista and Lycos and all those crappy search engines. And Google was like such a cut above. Okay. I
Yeah.
used Google from the day one, and I stopped using all the other search engines, and I used that search engine. It was great, great up to a point. and then it's been just declining ever since. Google does not is so hard to use in my job when I'm trying to find shit. It's like if you're on page 2 of Google search, you're in desperation, right? You're like, just give it up. If you have to click on the next page, I don't even click on the next page anymore because I know
I never have.
right. You go on the first page, it ain't there. You better put something else in because Google ain't giving it to you. Okay. Now, what do I use ChatGPT for? ChatGPT is really good for me when I want to know about information that it is collected. It's almost like it's done all these Google searches for you and it's distilled them down. And when you prompt it, it pulls from all of these things and tries to formulate an answer.
Indeed of search engines.
No, it's not a meta search. It is not a meta. That's meta. That's a meta search. I know that's not what it is.
Okay.
It understands, right? It sees, it parses what you're asking, and it figures out from its experiences, if you will, on information that it's collected off of the internet, how to formulate an answer. Okay, and so here's the way I use it. Like if I'm Googling something, hey, I have this problem, blah, 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 blah. Or is there a library that does this function for me? Or how do I do this and using this technology? Okay. I'll get a bunch of crap. I'm like, oh, Google, you're killing me, man. You're like picking few words, throws some of the words out, going, you didn't mean this word. You didn't mean this word. No, I meant that word. That's why I typed that word in. Put that word back. You put quotes around it and shit. Right. It pisses me off. So I go to ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And it gives me this answer. Oh, here's how you do it. First you do this, then you do this, then you do this. I'm like, oh, that's great. This is amazing. First time, right? I'm like, this is amazing. Holy crap, this thing's amazing. All right, let me try that. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Totally wrong. Okay? But in this wrong answer is a piece of information that I never heard of. I'm like, oh, what's this thing? And I didn't know that thing was a thing. Let me go look that up. And then I Google search that particular thing and I can learn about it. I'm like, oh, I didn't know about that. And now I can go back to ChatGPT and ask a more pointed question now that I know a little more. Yep. So I use Google and ChatGPT back and forth to try to get information. Now, let me just tell you, so I'm talking about programming for people who don't know. I'm talking about programming because that's what I did. So we still do this. You go and you search on Google and you go to what's called a website called Stack Overflow, right? And you get someone asks a question, you get a bunch of answers from a bunch of different people, okay? Some of them are right and some of them are wrong, all right? And then people up and down vote things based on which they think is the right and wrong answer. And they can be right or wrong. So sometimes the top voted answer is wrong or not as good as the second one.
Right. I hear you.
So what I have to do is when I search for something, I get all these answers, right? It's up to me to figure out which one is the right one and the best one by looking at all the ones that other people thought were good. And then I pluck out the one that I think is right and I use it. Now, ChatGPT, when you put something in ChatGPT, you are what's called the fitness function, okay? So in genetic algorithms, you have a population, right, that you create, an artificial population you create, and then you have what's called a fitness function that goes through the population and figures out how fit, right, survival of the fittest, how fit each member of the population is so that you can generate the next generation from the most fit individuals of this randomly generated population. It's called a fitness function, okay? So you are the fitness function for ChatGPT. So hey ChatGPT, what's the color of the sky? And ChatGPT says, well, the color of the sky is, auburn. And you're like, no, it's not auburn. No, you're wrong. Oh, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Actually, the color of the sky is green. No, it's not green. It's not auburn. And he goes, oh, I apologize. It's actually blue. And you go, oh, that's better, right? This thing's amazing. Well, you've thrown out all these bad answers that it's given you.
It's amazing on the third page.
You're the ultimate judge of how fit the answer is. Okay, that's the problem. That's the problem that I think is going to happen with ChatGPT. People are going to ask it. They're not going to critically think. They're going to take the first answer, which is probably wrong in many ways, and it will people will take that as fact, and they'll run around the world acting upon incorrect information, which we do already. We've already got corporate media.
Oh yeah.
We've got corporations buying science, and we're
Some
making
people believe the
health
Babylon Bee.
right, and we do health, and we make health choices,
Right.
choices that affect our health based on incorrect information. So the difference here is AI is viewed by people today as a god, right? As infallible, as this amazing thing, right?
Right,
so we
right.
see it in a godlike sense, and
Right.
that, whereas we don't necessarily see CNN in a godlike sense, right? And we might trust CNN or distrust CNN, but we don't see it as God and devil level, right? We don't
Right.
see it at that level. And so I think people see and fear AI the way they see and fear a God. And so you would take it at face value without question. And that's the biggest real threat that we have from AI. Is not the AI, it's the people who are using the AI. And it's
Right.
not that different than what we already have. It's just amplified. Okay. So
Okay.
it's a more amplified situation.
So why are we trying to halt it? The next question is, everybody's like, why are they signing a petition?
Because people don't understand it. They don't understand. They don't really understand.
They're trying to stop it to give us time to explain it.
No, they don't understand that they don't understand the real threat of current excuse me, the real threat of current AI. The real threat is the people using it are the threat. By
Okay.
not being the fitness function, by not saying, wait a minute, ChatGPT, this guy's not green, is it?
Right.
I got to check on this. Is it
Right.
green? So I did a thing where I said, hey, ChatGPT, tell me everything you know about, and I put my name in. You should try that, especially you're on the internet. Okay, if you're on the internet and you have a presence on the internet, you have
Right.
way more than I do.
Right.
But I have enough of one that it conjured up a whole story on me. Okay. Oh, I'm a software developer. Oh yeah, okay. And then it told me that I do talks and books and things. I don't do talks. I really don't. Right. And it made up a bunch of stuff. Like I have written a book, a programming book, but it gave me the title of the book and it was wrong. It like made up a title out of it probably isn't even a real title of a book.
Right. Right.
And then it said I wrote a controversial article titled blah 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 blah.
Wait, what is the title of your book again? I forgot.
Functional programming made easier.
Okay, so that's the real title.
But real title, and it was some Python title, a book about Python. Okay, so and then it said I wrote a controversial article, and I did, titled, and it gave me a big title, and no, that wasn't the title of my article. So it got some things right, and it sort of like filled in the blanks on. And I asked it more. And then I asked, it said that I had developed this one product, okay, which I didn't. And so in that same session with ChatGPT, I asked, who developed this product? And it said, it says Charles Scalfani developed this product. So it was wrong. Then I opened up another window with ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT, who developed this product? And it told me the right answer. It was weird. So like in this one session, based in this context, it referred to its own answer as being to get this to
so
answer
what you're
this
telling
question.
us is we're many versions from somewhat perfect or somewhat useful.
No, it's so far.
Right.
It is so far. It is the thing is we're using it for things it's not good at. It's terrible at. Like you can say, hey, write a program, write a function to sort some numbers. Okay. Well, there's tons of examples of that on the internet, and it just plucks and puts it together from bits and pieces, and you're probably going to get a pretty good answer from it, right? Not the most optimal answer, but you'll get a good answer.
Right.
But if I ask it, hey, write this in PureScript, the language I write is a very obscure language, right? Very few people write it. There's not a lot of information on the internet on it. It'll
Right.
write pretty good looking PureScript. Like if you don't really look at it very carefully, you're like, holy crap, it just wrote some PureScript code. Okay. But then when I look even closer, I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know that module even existed. So I go look it up. It doesn't. It's like making up module names. It's like, well, it was like that SNL guy. Yeah, it was a blue. Yeah, it was a blue car. No, a truck, right? I mean, do you remember that guy who lied on
Yep.
SNL? I forget that character's name.
Oh, that guy was hilarious.
Yeah,
That's
but the
when
thing is, it's almost like
that's
that's
when it
what
was
Chat
funny.
GPT is doing. That's what
Yeah.
Chat GPT is doing to you. It's like, I have to give a title here. Well, what might the title be? And it's trying to imagine what that title would be. Constantly, that's what you
Right.
get from it.
Right. Well, let's
And
realize
so,
ChatGPT only reaches for what humans have said. So it can't give you the perfect answer all the time because it's drawing up bad information.
well, not even that. There's good information about me on the internet. It just
I haven't found
it's
any about me yet, but I'm still
algorithm.
looking.
It's algorithm. It's algorithm. No, there's information about you. There's information about you, right? That's accurate information, right? Who you are, what you do. There's my articles are online. There's good information about you. Okay, there's good information about you on the internet.
Right.
It just isn't pulling from all of that. You can go read a. Oh, look, there's my book. Oh, there's articles. The things it told me about me. I'm a software developer. These are things I wrote about myself in my bio for my book. It's online. All of that's available. Did it pull properly from that? No, it did not. The algorithm is flawed in that respect. Okay.
Right.
It's great for creating things, right? It's great for making stuff up, for producing something from nothing. Okay. But it doesn't always create something that is accurate, right?
Right.
So if you say, "Hey, write me some copy, okay, for an ad for a product for hats," okay, let's pick hats, okay,
Okay.
and it will do a pretty good job. You'll go, "Oh, that's pretty good," but really, would that really convince me to buy these hats? Right? Is that a really, it'll write something that isn't gibberish,
Right.
but is it a good ad? I don't know. Like what makes it it's just generating. We're just enamored by the fact that it actually got words right and put them in sentences and sounds like what a human might say. We're so
Right. Right.
enamored by that we aren't holding it to the level that it should be held to. Of, hey, this is pretty awful copy. But sometimes they can give you a starting point. So like you're stuck. A lot of people have a hard time with blank page, right? Starting with a blank page. Okay. I don't have that problem. My whole career has been blank page. All right. I want to work from blank page. I like creating something from nothing. Okay. But a lot of people don't enjoy that. They want to start with something and then edit it and fix it and say, oh, this is bad. This needs to be replaced and this, that, and the other.
Right.
And ChatGPT can give you a starting point in, say, writing or something. So it's a tool. It's just like the bicycle. The early bikes were nowhere near as good as the bikes are today.
Right.
It's a tool, and if you understand the limitations of the tool, then you can, just like any other tool, you can use it as where it's advantageous. Okay, so you're not going to use a screwdriver to drive a nail. Okay, because it's not advantageous for that problem. But it's great for screwing in screws. So you use it there, and then you don't use it for other things.
Right.
And sometimes sometimes the screwdriver doesn't even doesn't work well because you're trying to screw a screw into cement, and that doesn't work. So it doesn't, just because the tool is good for driving screws doesn't mean you're using it in a situation that makes sense.
Got it.
Okay, go back to your question earlier. Was you had a question about, well, why are people trying to stop it and everything? And I think that that's really premature. Okay, so I remember watching in Twilight Zone. There was an episode where I think it was Twilight Zone. It's either Outer Limits or Twilight Zone, and the boss was replacing the workers with robots. I mean, robots like you think traditional robots, like from the 1930s World's Fair, right?
Right, right.
That kind of a robot that they showcased there, right? Which actually had a human being in it, that's a different story. But anyway, so that kind of robot thing that in the 50s, that sci-fi, 50s, early 60s kind of ideal of a robot, and they were replacing everybody with it. And at the very end of the story, the boss is replaced with a robot, and
That's great. That is
that's
totally Twilight Zone.
totally. And the thing is that the
Totally.
boss used to twirl the boss had a kind of a twitch thing where he'd twirl his watch, and at the end they push the camera in to the robot, and the robot's twirling a watch. He was like doing exactly what the boss was, and just
And it
completely
goes off
replaced
to
by this
Rod
robot.
Serling.
I don't remember that fade to black, I think. But the thing about it is that that's the fear. That's what everyone fears. They will be replaced. And you know what? You're already going to be replaced. The next generation is your replacement. What do you care if it's a robot or some human? What does it
Right.
matter? You're going to be replaced. They don't want to be alive and be replaced. They want to be replaced in death, and I get that. So this morning, Liz, my wife, says to me, she's reading on her iPad. She goes, she reads this thing, right? She's like, software developers are in panic over AI taking their jobs. And I'm like, oh my God, these are people who don't understand technology, right? Who call themselves software developers, and reporters who don't understand technology even less, right? They understand it even less, and writing a sensational story because it gets clicks. So I'm not going to see this in my lifetime. Chat GPT can't even help me half the time. It gives me wrong answers and for programming problems. And these are sort of like, if you imagine you're trying to build a car, right? And you're
Yep.
asking Chat GPT to just give you one bolt, and it can't even give you a bolt right. Okay. So how is Chat GPT going to make the whole car? How's he even going to know how to design even the car? All of this is just BS, and people are freaking out unnecessarily. And the other thing I think is, when the world changes quickly, people fear change because they don't understand it. And it happens so
That's
fast.
true. That's way
Like,
true.
this AI came out of nowhere. Okay. So you have this AI, it comes out of nowhere. Holy crap, the world has changed. And what's that going to look like? Okay. We don't know yet. How are people going to react to it? I can pretty much tell you how they're going to react to it. Just exactly what they're doing. It's like so predictable. So the thing is that once we get used to it, this will all die down. All this fear stuff will die down, and people will use it, and they'll learn this thing's not that smart, and it's kind of dumb in so many ways.
So let's talk about some of the warnings. Because one of the warnings, as an older guy, that I've been told about is they're using AI to imitate your relatives calling you. Okay.
Yes. So that's a totally different scenario. Okay. So that's
Why is it we use new
like,
technology for evil first?
yeah. Well, we use it for porn first, and then everything else.
Yeah,
So
porn first, right?
right. So the thing about that is that
You
that's
know, there's hundreds of people looking up porn right now on Chat GPT because you said that.
no, I'm not talking about ChatGPT. I'm talking about when the VHS first came out. The porn industry was on it like that, right?
Yeah,
So it's internet, boom, porn, right? I mean, so all new technologies, porn is right there at the forefront, always.
I get it.
So the thing is that for that kind of stuff, where you do deep fakes and things like that, that is a problem. But once again, it's how people react to information that they're given. Okay. The flaw isn't in the technology, the flaw is in the human. Okay. To trust what you see with your eyes and not question anything.
They've already
That's
used
the
it
flaw.
politically, and people fell for it
Right.
like crazy.
And that's the flaw. Right. You've fallen for it. I've fallen for it. There's
Yep.
nobody who hasn't fallen for some misinformation somewhere.
Right. So
And from traditional, forget AI. Hold on. Forget
yeah,
AI. Bullshit on the news.
yeah.
Right. Oh, there's
Like
no
the Trump
leak.
photos of him being arrested.
Like a million. There's no right. Well, no. That wasn't on the news, dude. That was not on the news. That was on the internet. I'm talking the news, right?
Oh, okay.
Oh no, lab leaks. That's ridiculous. Oh, that's and now we're at the point where we're like, yeah, lab leaks. Of course, lab leak, right? It's
Right.
so obvious, lab leak. But 2 years ago, the news was, scoffing at anybody who would even suggest such a ludicrous possibility. So
Right.
and the thing is that we were told a lot of stuff by the news, right? Whether it was malicious or just ignorant on their part, who knows? Who cares? And if you just reacted to what the news told you, then you are the problem.
Right.
And the same thing here. If you have deep fake, if you have something that's deep faked, and you go, oh, Obama said blah, 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 right? Which you would maybe never say.
Right.
And you don't question it. Like, does this feel like it's in Obama's character? Is this the kind of thing that he might say? Like, this is so out of character.
Right.
Then I think that you're the problem, not the technology.
So I'd like to share what people are doing. Their family has a keyword, safe word, that they know.
Yeah, I'm aware
if you
of
ever call me and say, hey, Jack, I need you to send me some money. I need help. I'm starving, whatever. And
what's the password?
Yeah. What's the keyword, dude? And you go, chocolate. Then I know it's you. But there's no way, and nowhere on the internet, Chat GPT would know the keyword because we verbally picked one.
Okay, so first of all, Chat GPT is not the technology that's being used to fake voices. Okay.
Oh no, they're doing it right now. Seriously.
No, Chat GPT is not the technology.
Oh,
it's
no,
not
technology. You're right. No, I'm sorry. It's another website. Who knows? Like Chat
it's a different technology.
Is not to blame, but AI technology is to blame. You got to be careful. That's all. Right. So a safe word is a great thing to have in your family. I'm just telling people to prevent the next attack.
So hold on. So the likelihood of that happening to you is almost zero. You'll probably get attacked by a shark in your own home before that's going to happen to you. So if you are online,
that's funny.
Okay, if you're online and you have a bunch of videos of you talking and stuff, yeah, you have to worry because your voice can be
the only way to duplicate your family member is to call them and record that. And there's a lot of work involved.
No. They get it online. They're not getting it by calling you.
I know they're getting somebody who's already online. Why bother?
Online, right? So they're getting someone who's already online,
calling the relative.
Well, hold on. The fact you're online and you've exposed yourself so much online is the way that I can get your phone number. I know I can get where you live and I can get to your phone, and then I can deep fake, right, using your child's voice, and put it on the phone call, right?
Right.
It's not going to happen to the average person ever. Like you're not even probably know anyone. You'll hear reports of it, right? And it'll seem like, oh my God, this is a big deal.
It'll probably become more popular over time.
It's not going to be a thing. It's not going to be a thing, dude. It is so not.
Well, it's good to have a safe word anyway. Like if a child is being picked up by an adult.
You don't need a safe word. You don't need a safe word. What did I buy you for your birthday last year? You just need any question that only you will know.
Yeah.
You don't even, there's a million things. What did you buy me for Christmas? There's 1,000 things. You don't need to make a safe word. Just be intelligent enough
just something
to think
that
of something.
Obviously it can't be posted on the internet or known about by the internet because that information can't be retrieved. So pick something that's personal. That's all. Like you said, personal. We don't post
something only you would know.
Yeah.
Something only you would know.
Exactly. Right. And that's the limitations of Chat GPT. There's a lot of people.
No, it's not Chat GPT. Stop. It is not Chat GPT. It's not. That technology is some other AI. It's something different.
I wasn't done. Can I finish my statement? That AI whether ChatGPT or something else, can only retrieve what's been provided, right?
No, that's not
No,
true.
you
No,
meaning create more
it
information that
can create,
wasn't.
yes,
Oh,
from what it can make things that are derivative, just like we can. We create things that
right,
don't exist. And we
right.
create them, and the things, our creations are derivative of all of the other things that we've have experienced in our lives.
Okay,
Okay.
I get it.
All right. So, right. So that it can do that. It can create something that's never been created, that never existed. Okay. But it does it only from what it can draw from, which is what you were saying. So
Yes,
that part, you're right.
that's a limitation
That
right
part,
now.
it
We
is.
have not developed it to where it can create something out of nothing, right?
Wait, but nothing can. That's an impossibility.
No,
You
you
can't have
can.
that.
No, a human
No,
can.
no, 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 you can't.
Oh,
You can't. You
I
can't
get where you're
create.
coming
Here's the
from.
thing.
I get
You
it.
can, right. Because
I
like
get
think
it.
of, here's
Because
what
you're
I want
still
you to
drawing
do.
off all
Think of
your
something that
experiences.
cannot
Hey, did you
exist in our
just shrink? Why did
universe.
you drop down in the window?
Oh, my camera does that.
Your freaking camera
See?
is freaking out, man.
It does that.
Here's
If
my
you
camera. I'm
move,
going to move it. Ready? There we go.
yeah, I don't know. I
Wow.
just have to move my head. All right. So here's the thing. Think of something that cannot exist in our universe. Go. You can't, because everything you can think of does exist in our
Exists in
universe.
our universe. Right. No, I
Right.
get
That
it.
cannot exist in our
All right,
universe.
slow
You
down. You're
can't do
blowing
it.
people's minds. Now they've gone off the rails. They're like, what the frick's he talking about? Okay, so let's do this because I know AI, we're right on the front end of it. Okay. We don't know where it's going. So we'll see. Time will tell. But let's revisit this issue and talk about how it's being used at that time. And let's talk about the development. People, calm down. Stop letting the media freak you out. Oh my God, we're all going to get killed by AI. AI is going to take over. If you don't know the information, do some research. Go find people who know the information about AI and calm down. America's been on edge for years. So, I mean,
Since the pandemic, since 9/11,
right,
since,
right.
yeah, we have
And
yeah,
the
definitely.
one spinning your plates is the freaking media. I think the media is like number one enemy.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
if you
Absolutely.
report bad information, you should lose your license to broadcast. If you
Yeah.
report false information, you should get like 3 strikes, like YouTube. You get 3 strikes
So
for
here's the
taking off
thing.
TV.
So here's the thing about the news. The news used to have had certain requirements to be considered news. Those were long removed in the Reagan, I think it was during the Reagan era around that time.
Right,
And
right.
I'm not sure I'm blaming Reagan for all of it, but during that era, a lot of that went away. And now you have news, you have entertainment with the banner of news in front of it, right? It's not even news. It's
Right,
just it's just entertainment. It's
right.
it's it's entertainment. News is. We should have another. We should do this as another F as in Frank someday.
You want to do
But
another video on news, just news?
yeah, we should. But the new.
Okay.
But so here's a preview.
All right.
The news is effectively entertaining in the way that a roller coaster is entertaining. Right? You feel in the moment that you're gonna die on the roller coaster. Like you could die, right?
Right,
But you
right,
kind of know in the back of your mind you're not, because it's a roller coaster, right?
right.
Same with the news. The news gives you that same kind of feeling of fear, but
Sensation.
being but well, it's a fear, right? But you're in the safety of your own home. Okay. So you invite into your safe, boring life this excitement, whether it's fear or whatever, right? But
Right,
even
right.
this a bit of excitement, you invite it into your home for just a minute, for just a little bit, and then you let it go away.
That's
And you
great.
don't want
I
to
don't
ride
want
the
to do
roller
that
coaster
video
for
right
a
now. You're
year,
doing that video. It's so
right?
good.
You don't want to ride the roller coaster for a year. So that's the
Yeah,
problem with the news. And the
right.
news will just tell you all kinds of. They don't care. Their
Okay.
job is not to make you more informed. So
Eyeballs.
and
That's
as
it.
far as right or clicks, as far as AI is concerned, they're gonna prioritize the story that gets more people to pay attention, because we are in basically an attention economy. Okay, the online economy is
Right.
basically an attention economy, and we've always been that. Go
Hmm.
back to the Mad Men days, right? A
Right.
part of advertising was to get your attention.
Wasn't that
How
a
do we
show?
get? Yeah, as I said, Mad Men. Go
Yeah,
back to the Mad
I
Men.
never watched it. I should go back and watch it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to understand some of the, I mean, it's a good show and all, but if you kind of want to understand I
Inner
think
workings.
no, it's a renaissance of advertising. When
Got it. Where it all
advertising,
started. Got it.
no, where it changed from being about details about the product. Advertising used to be telling you about the product, and it
Right.
changed over into being about how you feel and your lifestyle and how this product will change how you feel about yourself. Okay, that was the error that during that time, the Mad Men time, is when all of that kind of changed. So if you go back even into ads in magazines and newspapers, back in the old days, and then on radio, right? So, right, or on television, we've always been attention economy, marketing. It's all been about marketing. So we are even
Right.
more in an attention economy now. And so, because you have the internet, you have more things that are vying for your attention. So you have to ramp up the war for attention. And
Got
that's
it.
what we're in. We're in that today. And so we're pretty ill equipped as a society to deal with that.
Yep. Yep.
And we just don't know how to turn it off. And
It's
so
funny
that's
because humans are so predictable. You can tell by their posts. If it's Johnny Depp era, it's about his lawsuit. If it's, I mean, on and on. All the headlines that we've gone through, there's always been something at the top that we all talk about, a cold front coming through, or storms in California, or I mean, literally, it just cracks me up. And we all post about all that. We just eat until something else happens.
Yeah, I mean, it is like I was saying, it's an attention problem, and it's a boredom, right? It's a boredom thing. At some point, you're going to get bored of hearing about January 6th. I mean, some people aren't, but most people don't want to hear about January 6th anymore, right? It's just, oh, stop it already, right?
Right.
Just I don't want to hear about it. Okay, I understand that you got to put it through the legal process, but I
Right.
don't want to hear about it every day. It's not top on my hit parade.
Right. Right.
Sorry,
Right.
it's not something
Like climate
that is
change, same
going.
thing.
It's not going to impact my life. If it
I
doesn't
know.
impact my life, I don't want to hear about it. I can't change it. Why you all the
I know.
time?
I have no
So
effect on it. Why are you even telling me? There's nothing
right,
I can do.
right, right. And so but it's all about attention. It's all about sensation. Whatever's the most sensational thing. And so you have to realize that when the same thing is happening with the AI reporting. It's no different than anything else. It's
It's just
just a
top of the
new
headlines.
and it's new and it's changing the world in ways that we have never seen before. Okay, the iPhone did that. Okay, the iPhone changed the world in ways we had never seen before. Right, mine's right here too, like right here.
Yep.
It's like not. It's always an arm's distance, and it has changed the world. It's changed our behaviors. It's changed how we interact with our world, how we see our world, and once again, where's the flaw? The flaw is in the human. The flaw
Right.
is always in the human. Okay.
Oh, I
It's
totally
all
agree.
in, and we have 110% control over that. Okay. We just have to
Now, do
take
you
the
have certain people that
responsibility.
you text and certain people you can call? It's funny. You literally, like, right? You have certain friends that you know I can text and get an answer. You have certain ones that no, I called, it'd be better. Some people
Yes.
are like that. It's like you have it in
Yes.
your brain. You know who's
Yes.
who. It's crazy. Way crazy.
But
In fact,
here's the
voicemails
thing.
almost. Go ahead.
But here's the thing, Jack. I want to put a pin in this.
Okay.
So the point is with all new technology,
Right.
okay, we are the flaw. Okay. We have to take personal responsibility. Oh, yeah, there's that word that no one wants to talk about anymore. It's been decades since people took personal responsibility, if ever. And
Right.
personal responsibility, it's personal responsibility for how you react to anything. Okay. You have 110% control over that. No one else does, right? You have 100% control over
Right.
your actions. Okay. You also should be part of that responsibility is to vet the information. right? Is this information correct? Because I
Nobody
want
does
to.
that. Listen carefully. Nobody
No,
does it.
no, 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 not even close, not even close. As much as I'm sitting here preaching about it, I don't do it enough because I
What
ain't got
was
time for that.
what was the April Fool's joke? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
the
yeah.
best April Fool's joke we ever read?
Right. So it was a
It was a
title
headline.
of an article, right,
Yep.
that said one thing, and then the article told you that if you read this, the title's wrong, and don't, and you should be reading the article, not the title. And then see how many send this to people, and so many people repost it and get all
Yeah.
mad about the title of the article, and you'll know that they didn't read the article. So
Right.
yeah, it was a great article. But the point being is, in your
Hilarious.
busy everyday life, you don't have time for that. You don't have time
Right.
to vet everything.
Right.
So the thing is to take everything with a grain of salt. Okay, unless bombs are dropping from the sky, you're gonna be fine.
Right.
Anyway, that's all I gotta say.
All right. Well, I think we touched on it enough that people who know nothing now feel a little better. I think they're more knowledgeable. We'll touch on it more if it grows and becomes more of an issue, which we probably will be doing that. But yeah, I appreciate you explaining it because like you're more knowledgeable about that category than I am, and you know the limitations and where it's going to go and all that stuff. But me, as just a kind of an average Joe sitting on the couch watching TV, eating potato chips, I'm the guy that's like, oh my God, the world's gonna end and all that. And I don't know what Jim's going through because he's freaking out over it. But
I don't understand what he's listening to. I don't understand the sphere. Um,
yeah,
ignorance about a subject, which we all have,
yeah.
can sometimes induce fear in us because we don't know how
And
is it going to affect me, and if
yeah,
so, how, right? And that's what you want to know, those two things. And it's this is not anything to be worried about. It's a great little tool.
right,
It can do what it can do and nothing more.
right.
That's
So,
all.
and I don't want to come across as saying our brother's an idiot. We love our brother. He's brilliant in his own way. We're all brilliant in our categories.
We're
So
all idiots in different categories.
absolutely. Gosh, please. Everybody tells me that every day. So anyway, like I didn't know it. They come over and tell me,
Right. Right.
you screwed this up.
Just ring the doorbell. Ding, ding, hey, Jack, you're an idiot. Bye.
Exactly. Yeah. Nope. I didn't order that pizza. But anyway, I'll let you go and then we'll pick up
All right.
another topic coming up soon.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.